Graham Bull here for fmsguru.com, and we've got a tutorial. Finally, it's been a while since the last one. Things have been busy. So anyways, let's get on with it. What we're going to do in tutorial number 48 here is use Flash Builder, and I happen to be using 4.5, but you don't need to, and Wowza to build a very basic example of how you can take advantage of shared objects with Wowza. And they're quite similar to Flash Media Server, but obviously coding is a little different, so let's check that out. The first thing that I'm going to do, as I usually do, is try to start on the server side. And I've got the very free Wowza IDE version 2 installed on my computer here, and you can get that at Wowza's site, and it gives you a really nice little interface here and all that kind of stuff to build Wowza applications. And I've gone ahead and since I've covered this in another tutorial, if you look back in the list, you'll see the basics of Wowza Media Server. And let's see here. If we just go down to, geez, it's been a while. There we are, number 32, 33. You'll pick up how we go about starting up making an application. So I've got tutorial number 48 here, and it creates a Java file by default, or at least tutorial 48, the name of the project by default. And you have the option of having a whole bunch of little bits of functions come in at the same time. Now, I'm not going to need much of or any of these really, except for on app start, and maybe another function as we cruise along in this particular example. So it's all set up for me, all written out, and all of the right classes are imported so far. So the first thing we want to do is we want to create a shared object. So when the application starts up, we want a pointer to a shared object. So of the type I shared objects, we are going to make an object called shared objects, and we are going to get the shared objects of this particular application. So as we can see here, we can use a couple of different methods to do that, and we're going to set in the constructor of it whether it's persistent or not, and in our case, false. So that's how handy this IDE is. It practically writes everything for you. Now it's giving me an error here, and this is the bonus of this as well, is that if I click on this here, this little icon, it will give me a whole bunch of options. What would you like to do? And actually what I want to do is import the class. So I'll just double click that, and there it is. It imports in. Handy. Okay, so now we want to take advantage of this, and to do that we are going to create a variable. And it's a little bit different than ActionScript 3. We declare the type in Java before we declare the variable name. And that's how we do that. And it's still giving me a problem because we need the I shared object as well, not just the object. So the objects are the one in the application. The object is the actual object. So SO equals, and this is just an arbitrary name that I've picked, shared objects, get or create. So either get it if we've already got it, or create it if it hasn't been made yet. We're going to call that test, SO, something like that. The next thing to do is to acquire it, and we are done getting it. Now, to show that we've actually gotten it, we can do something with it, we're going to set a property on it. So one more item, set property, and we have all kinds of options in here, but it doesn't really matter. It's all the same kind of idea. So we'll set a property, and we'll call it I don't know, random number. And then we'll go into here and we'll go math, round, math random times 1,000. Okay, so that'll give us a random number between 0 and 999, I think. And it'll put it in the slot random number. So it'll be a variable name called random number, and the value will be whatever this is inside of this particular shared object, which is not persistent. Okay, so that's how far we'll go with that. And when we save it, it automatically creates the jar file, which is what Wowza needs to load in. And we will just go ahead and start Wowza up, hitting the play button up here, and it will go ahead and start up. So while that's starting up, which doesn't take very long at all, we'll get back into Flex 4.5 we're using here. And the first thing that I'm going to do is add a button, because we need to connect up. So this button will be connect button, and we'll set a label, click me to connect, exclamation mark. And then let's see, we want to kind of see what's going on here, so we'll also add a text area, which we'll put just below that. Actually, you know what, let's make it a little bit special. Let's go and grab a panel, like so. Just extend that out a bit, I don't know, 450. And we'll set a title of status, something like that. And now we'll go grab our text area, and we'll just put that in there. We'll go down to the size, set it to 100%, sitting in 00, that's pretty good. And we will ID this one as status text, and that's pretty good. Let's save that, go to the source. Okay, so in the source here we can start writing out some script that we want to use. So the first thing we need to do is, let's see here, I'll generate a click handler for the connect button, and that'll do. Okay, so let's go ahead and declare our net connection object, like so, and we'll also declare our shared object, like that. So when somebody hits a connect button, we want to connect. So NC equals new net connection. And let's see here. You know what's happened. Something's not quite working correctly, because we shouldn't have this problem. Oh, there we go. Okay, moving forward with that mistake out of the way. NC, we're going to set the client to this. We're going to listen for the net status event. Net status, like so. Pretty boring stuff, but has to be done. On net status, net status event, like so. And let's see, let's connect up, and we're going to connect up to my local computer, because that's where Wowza is running. Tutorial 48 V1. And that's about that. Now let's move into here, and we will quickly grab the code, and it's a string. It goes info code, and if code index of success. So if we see success in the code that comes back, then we've connected up. We'll put a bit of a comment in there, that always helps. And we'll call get SO, and that's a function we're going to declare next. But inside of the status text, we want to know what's going on, and we will go like this: net status code, and we'll add a line break, like so. And now we just have to declare our function getSO. So hopefully this isn't going too quick or is confusing in any way whatsoever, but we're really just going through the very basics of connecting up to Wowza. And once we have made that connection, which is very important, you don't want to do this stuff without making the connection first, we're going to go get the shared object, like so. And it is false for persistence. And we want to make sure we get the exact same shared object. So it's named test.so, I think. Let's double check that. Yes, it is test.so, and it's not persistent. So false there too. Good. Okay, so SO, we will add an event listener, a sync event. Just call it on sync. We will also set the client to this and connect up, passing in the net connection object. Now, on sync event is what we're passing in, or has passed in. Now, on sync gets called when you've connected to the shared object. So we're getting a remote one, so one that lives on the server. And once we've connected to that, on sync will get called. It will also get called if any of the values inside of the shared object change. So let's capture that, and we can do that by grabbing the code again. String, that's another string, equals e change list, and we'll grab the first item in this change list, and we'll grab the code, like so. And again, we'll just copy this, paste, and we'll go. Let's go sync status this time. Sync status, like so. And we're also going to get that value that we put in. So random number value is, and to get that, we're going to go SO data, and we can grab it by just accessing the variable name, random number, like so. And that will put into our status text the random number that was put in when the application started up. So we can test this if we wanted to. So we're going to hit play, pop this into Firefox in my case, click me to connect. So we've successfully connected up. The status is clear, which is what's called when you first connect up, and the value happens to be 130. Now just to show that that does change, cancel. Just to show that that does change, what we'll do is we'll go to Wowza, we will stop Wowza with this red button here, and start it back up again. And we'll wait till it starts up, which is usually really quick. Okay, start it up, head back to Flash Builder, hit this up again. So the last number was 130, and this time it's 996. So as you can see, the value that's put inside that shared object changes every time, obviously because it's random. You got a 1 in 1,000 chance of it being the same, I guess. But that's how we can start with working with shared objects. Let's go ahead and close this up. Now, to go a little further, we're going to put in another button. We're going to kind of go over what else can be done with a shared object. Shared objects are really powerful. There's lots of things you can do. And we'll call this the send button. And we'll send a message to ourselves with this button. And we will, let's see, set enable to false so that we can't click it until we've connected up and synced up. So if, actually what we'll do is we'll just for, let's see here, if code equals clear, send button enabled equals true. Okay, so that just says, if we get that clear message come to us, then we can enable the button. That's pretty good for now. Okay, so the send button, we need it to do something. So we'll just go click, and we'll have it generate a click handler for us. Delete that and that. Now, another thing you can do with shared objects was not just setting properties on them. You can also use a method called send. So what we'll do is we'll use that. Send, and we'll call it receive message. And this is my message. Now, something I didn't quite cover because we didn't need to know just at the moment, but when you set the client to a particular object, which happens to be this, the application, anything that's sent on the send method is called in here. So we have to make it public function, and we'll call this receive message, and it's going to get a message because we're sending something with it. And let's see here. I'll just grab this code again, and the message is this. And we don't even really need to do anything on Wowza's side because all we've done is changed up the client side, but we will show something very shortly on Wowza too. Okay, so testing this, click me to connect. We got a clear status back, so our button lit up. Send message, and there we go. The message comes through. Now that is actually going to the server and coming all the way back, despite the fact that we're just really kind of calling it locally in a way. But essentially it's going to the shared object that lives on the server and then coming back as this. And to prove that, what we'll do is instead of using the shared object, we'll use the net connection object. We just have to add in the null responder, and we'll call receive message on the server side, which doesn't exist yet. So we'll go into the IDE for Wowza, and I'm just going to copy this little function down here like so, and this is just something that was put in automatically. Now we're calling receive message like that. And receive message is called, obviously, as we just did there. I'm just going to quickly stop Wowza because I don't need it running. Oh yeah, anytime you change something in here and recreate the jar file, you have to stop and start Wowza again, have it load in. So receive message is going to receive the client object, a return function pointer, and then a data list of AMF objects called params. Now, this is important because we want to grab the first parameter, which happens to be the only parameter, and send that back. So what we'll do is we'll go SO send, because we can also send from the server side. So we'll call it receive SO message, just to make it different. And we'll go back into Flash Builder and we'll change this SO message like that. Okay. Now you might be wondering, why would you want to do this? Because you might want to use this in a chat, and you might want to format it or check for bad words or check for like 100 million spaces or I don't know, length of too long or something. You know, it's something that you might want to just format. You might want to check out. You might want to see if it's an admin user and they're able to do something special or whatever. We're not going to do any of that here, but we are going to receive it, and we get it through the params get string method and the first parameter, and that's a constant value there. And so that's going to grab the first value, and it's going to call on the shared object receive SO message. So we'll save that. It recreates the jar file. Start up Wowza again. Wait for it. There it goes. All right. Go back into Flash Builder, hit play, and hopefully all will be well. Click me to connect. We connect up, send the message, and there it is. So this time, and just actually to prove it to you, oh, there I go again, cancel that. Just to prove that that's actually happening, what we'll do is we'll create a string. new string equals, and we'll grab this, new string plus this is new. And we'll put a space in here. Put a couple stars. What the heck? Let's make it special. Everybody likes stars, right? And we don't need space on the end. Okay, so we'll save that. And if you ever do this, you want to stop Wowza, but this thing is disabled. It's only because it's gone into a different console. So just click this button here, which you can see shows, well, you can't really see it, but it shows two items. And that'll go back and forth between the Wowza console and the jar creating console. Okay, so now that we've stopped that, we can restart it. The play button up there. Waiting. Going back to Flash Builder. Hitting play. And click me to connect. Send a message. And there it is. We can see that this is actually coming from the server. So there's a few ways to kind of take advantage of net connection object calling, sending from the server side, or setting values from the server side inside of Wowza. And because you might want to do some kind of formatting or whatever else, and so that's just a good way to do things. So yeah, so hopefully that helps you out. We've got lots more coming up pretty soon with tutorials here. It's been rather busy. I really apologize for the long delay, but there's lots of good information coming, and we've even got a new product coming out pretty quick to keep an eye out for. So thanks for visiting. Thank you for watching and listening this far. My name is Graham Bull for fmsguru.com, and we'll see